I found this vintage Highboy dresser at an estate sale over a year ago, and it has been sitting in the corner of my garage collecting dust ever since. I finally got the nerve to refinish it. When I opened the drawers and removed the liners, I found this beautiful wood grain drawer bottom, and that gave me the idea to strip the dark stain off the entire piece and see what was hiding underneath of it. I applied stripper with a natural bristle brush and then let it sit for 30 minutes before I tried to scrape it all off. I ended up doing 2 rounds of stripper to try and get as much of the old stain off as possible. This was no easy task and was very messy. And I did the same process on the drawer fronts. This time I made sure to wear gloves. I cleaned up all of the residue with mineral spirits, and once that was dry, I sanded everything down with 220 grit sandpaper. This is the time I realized that the wood veneer was really thin and I had to be very careful with sanding. Unfortunately, I was not going to be able to sand it down to a light wood color as I had originally planned. I got to work removing the stain from the legs. I applied the stripper with my brush, and after letting it sit for about 30 minutes, I went in with a wire brush and some more stripper to get into all of those grooves. I cleaned up all of the residue with mineral spirits, and once dry, I attached a foam pad and a 220 grit sanding disc to my detail sander, and this made it easier to sand around all of the curves. And for the harder to reach spots, I had to hand sand. Some of the dovetail joints on the drawers were loose, so I added some wood glue, wiped off the excess, and then used a ratchet clamp to hold them while the glue dried. I cleaned out the drawers with some of my favorite cleaner, Crud Cutter Degreaser, and a soft scrubber pad. And then I rinsed all of that cleaner residue out with some clean water. Since I was left with dark stain and blotchiness, I did a tan wash to try and even out the wood tone. I mixed up a small amount of tan paint with water and applied it with a synthetic bristle brush, and then I wiped it off with a lint-free rag. I did 2 rounds of this process until I got a look that I liked. Here's the piece after doing 2 rounds of the tan wash. The paint raises the grain of the wood, so to give it a smooth surface, I sanded down the entire piece with 400 grit sandpaper. I wanted a warmer wood tone, so I applied a dark decorative wax to the entire piece. I wiped it on with a lint-free cloth and then buffed it in. The wax also seals and protects the wood, so I did not need to add an additional top coat to it. I found these 1-inch round solid brass pulls from Amazon. I think they finish off the piece nicely. And here is the final result. A reminder of what it looked like before and what it looks like now. I would really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this transformation, and a follow if you would like to see more furniture videos like this.